Hey folks, this is Kalani. Welcome back to another Hunter Guide. This time we'll be looking at how you can get the most out of your Hunter for Hellfire Citadel. Now this is going to be focusing on Marksmanship because Marksmanship does very well in Hellfire Citadel. Its playstyle and DPS are far above the other two specs. Now, DPS, not necessarily far above Beast Mastery, but the fact that you can very easily swap and nuke specific priority targets and adds is just ridiculous. It puts Marksman way up there for the spec to be. Now, the other thing is that there's a lot of cleaving fights where you get 2 targets for Chimera Shot. That puts us way above in damage of most fights. So, Marksman is the way to go, especially when you get your 4 set. Before your 4 set for Hellfire Citadel, you can pretty much play what you want. I mean, you can play what you want anyway, but you're not going to get as much damage as Marksman when you do pick up this 4 set. We're going to be focusing on that because that does change the game quite a bit and you'll start seeing yourself just jump up those damage meters. So preferably get your 4 set. If you can't get it, that's kind of tough luck, I guess. You really desperately need to focus on getting this 2 set. Reroll on all those tier bosses whenever you can. Try poke into heroic. Try snipe those pugs which are on the tier bosses. Personal loot is making this very easy right now, so go get yourself some tier. Now, the 4 set changes things because you get an instant aim shot. The 2 set doesn't really do a great deal. It's a small DPS increase, you know, when it happens. Rapid fire, 4 seconds, 40% chance when you crit with Chimera Shot. It's not really going to bring a great deal to the table, so just, you know, be happy when it procs. Don't be surprised if it doesn't. Now, for your stat priorities, it's pretty much going to be typical marksmanship, except remember that your weapon DPS is very high on the list because a lot of our shots rely on weapon damage. So if you can get an upgrade to your weapon which doesn't necessarily have the same stats, that's perfectly fine. Like, I would happily go for a 705 crafted gun right now if I had the patience to reroll the stats on it because I'm not paying the ridiculous auction house prices. But, I mean, that's a different story. If you can get your hands on the 705 gun, that's brilliant. If you can get any of the heroic weapons from Hellfire Citadel, that's even better. Try get crit on it. If you can't, oh well, but the weapon damage is very important. Then you've got agility. So if an item is an upgrade item level wise by maybe 10 or more but doesn't have crit, potentially it's going to be an upgrade just because of the agility. You want to do a few stat weight investigations, I guess, you know, measure them against each other. Ask Mr. Robot is perfect for that. But if it doesn't have crit, it's not the end of the world if it has agility, and a lot of agility compared to your previous piece. Now from there, it's critical strike as your top priority, and then multistrike. So crit and multistrike is your preferred stat combination on any piece of gear, like this tasty little neck, or any crafted gear that you want to go for. You want crit and multistrike. I can tell you right now that a cloak and belt are very good pieces to go for because you won't replace them until Mythic as long as they are at the 715 upgrade level. So they're very nice pieces to get a hold of. From there, you want versatility and mastery. Now, it kind of depends on how well you're managing your sniper training. So this is our mastery, sniper training. If you can stay still, and if you can keep this active for the majority of the fight, mastery is above versatility. If you can't, then versatility pokes ahead of mastery. Mastery loses value the more that you move. So just bear that in mind. Now for talents, specifically for 4 set, you want to go focusing shot down at the bottom for the majority of fights. If you need to move too much and you can't focusing shot when you need to, then go lone wolf. If you don't have your 4 set, just go lone wolf. You can't get the important little bits and pieces out of focusing shot because you'll end up focusing shot and then casting an aimed shot, and you'll probably focus cap half the time because you've got 2 kind of long casts right after each other and you don't get to spend any focus during that time. But for the rest of them, it's pretty typical. You want Crouching Tiger, Hidden Chimera. That gives you the cooldown on Disengaging Deterrence, Binding Shot for very nice kiting, Iron Hawk for the damage reduction, Thrill of the Hunt for instant 30 focus aim shots. Kind of ridiculous. That gets incredibly fun later on. Stampede is still your go-to. Some fights you can reset a Murder of Crows quite a lot, but you'll need a Murder of Crows to last at least 10 to 12 seconds. And a lot of these fights, while the ads might pop up, they typically go down very quickly because they're a priority. So, I mean, if you can reset it plenty of times, that's something to micromanage and can end up doing a lot more damage. But if you stampede, you just stampede once every 5 minutes, get the same amount of damage, give or take, and you don't have to lose all of those global cooldowns. So, I prefer stampede. It's the lazy option and still does a stupid amount of damage. When you get your full set, you want to go barrage for all encounters, and that's still going to be a DPS increase over an aimed shot which is not being procced by Thrill of the Hunt. So if you have Thrill of the Hunt procs, a 30 focus cost aim shot is better than a barrage, but barrage is better than a 50 focus cost aim shot. So that's a little iffy to get used to, but because we have a lot of clear fights as well, barrage is just so up there. It's fantastic. And then, as I mentioned earlier, focusing shot is a brilliant choice. If you're moving too much, go for Lone Wolf. I prefer using focusing shot as much as possible. Now, when it comes to your priorities and rotations with abilities, it's pretty much the same. So keep Chimera Shot off cooldown. You want to aim shot whenever you can, above 80%. Remember, above 80% health on a target, you will have the Careful Aim buff, meaning that you get 50% extra crit on your aim shots, as well as a few other shots. But you need to make sure your aim shot is a priority above 80%, and then when you dip down below 80%, if you have a Thrill of the Hunt proc, aim shot is your priority above barrage, but when you don't have a Thrill of the Hunt proc, barrage is going to poke ahead of aim shot. So it's Chimera Shot, aim shot if you're above 80%, aim shot with Thrill of the Hunt proc below 80%, barrage, and then aim shot below 80% without a Thrill of the Hunt proc. And that's pretty much your priority. They're pretty much your only abilities. You want a focusing shot whenever you don't have enough focus for anything else. So if you've got 40 focus, no Thrill of the Hunt proc, Chimera Shot on cooldown, focusing shot, straight into an aim shot or barrage, depending on what happens. So it's pretty easy, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Pretty easy. Then below 35%, you want to kill shot as a priority after Chimera Shot. My favourite thing to do would probably be kill shot, Chimera, kill shot, just in case the boss is a little far away. One thing that I didn't actually touch on was the Archimon trinket. So this is a very good trinket as long as you can stay at range. If you can't stay at range for bosses like Gorefiend, like Tyrant, where you need to stack in pretty close to the boss, then you want to swap out this trinket. My current trinket to swap out is still the Beating Heart of the Mountain, because I don't really have a great deal of trinkets from Hellfire Citadel yet. They're on my list. So this is pretty straightforward. For an opener, you want to potion into Stampede, Chimera. Rapid Fire is a little interesting, because if you've got ads pretty quickly into a fight, like in the first 10 seconds of a fight, Rapid Fire might not be worth using until that ad gets low, depending on how quickly it's going to die. Because if you've got the Careful Aim buff anyway, we've got instant aim shots, so your Rapid Fire doesn't increase the cast time of your aim shots, it just increases the cast time of your focusing shot. And above 80%, you're not going to use Barrage, so it doesn't increase the channel time of that either. Then you also need to look at whether you're using Lust or not. If you're using Bloodlust or Heroism at the start, you don't want to Rapid Fire either, because you want the haste after Bloodlust ends. So there's a few things to consider here. The first is whether the boss is going to go below 80% within a decent amount of time, because if you get it below 80% within a minute, you've got a minute before you can Rapid Fire again. If you get it to 80% within 2 minutes, you're going to Rapid Fire again anyway. So it depends on the boss, but I would recommend leaving it until 80% if you can. If you lust, do it after. Always try and keep those separate. But then you want to make sure any ad which comes up needs to die. So if you've got an ad which isn't going to die within the 15 seconds of Rapid Fire, and it goes below 80%, then you can Rapid Fire and nuke that down and swap back to the boss, where you will have Careful Aim again, hopefully. So you need to be very, very planny with this. You need to plan beforehand what you're going to do with your Rapid Fire at the start, at the very least. After the start, just use it on cooldown. So if you want to wait until 80%, that's fine, because you get the extra careful aim buff for 15 seconds. If you want to use it at the start, just to make sure you're using it on cooldown whenever you can, that's fine too. It's going to depend on the boss as to what's a DPS increase, and you're just going to need to learn each boss and kind of use your brain, use your smarts, guys. That's what they're there for. But I'd recommend using it at the start if you don't want to micromanage it, and if you do want to micromanage it, use it at 80%. So that should kind of hopefully explain that. Let's give this a go. So we want to potion into Stampede and Chimera, because Stampede is a pain in the butt and the pets will end up running back to you if you don't use an ability straight after it. And then we'll probably rapid fire. We can't get this below 80%, and I don't want to attack that dummy because it'll kill my pet, which, you know, is frustrating. But hey, we're marksmanship with a pet again. That's something to write home about. Let's get a little further back because we want all the damage from this super shiny trinket. So we'll go a little further. Potion, Stampede, Chimera, rapid fire. And this is the most fantastic feeling in the world. Getting a proc, and then so many instant aim shots straight after. Thrill of the Hunt is kind of broken. And when you're fully buffed in your raid, you should see upwards of 110k burst. Depending on your gear, obviously. If you get some nice trinkets which proc, it's going to go a lot higher. Now, one of the biggest issues with being this far away is that you will need to killshot Chimera killshot when you can, because you'll have a full global cooldown between the killshot and the killshot resetting, which, you know, that's always fun. But that's Marksmanship Hunter in a nutshell, pretty much. It's fun. I'd say the most frustrating thing about Marksmanship Hunter right now is that you need your full set. Until you get the full set, you can't have as much fun with the instant aim shots. So just make sure you've either got your tier sets, and you should be able to have a bunch of fun with instant aim shots, Marksmanship Hunter being one of the best DPS once again, and you can just get invited to all the raids. It's fantastic. So if you have any questions or queries, please do leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try to get back to you. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching, folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.